And I think it's working for him. And I honestly, like, as an American, there's nothing more American almost than serving up fries at McDonald's. It's a staple of American life. And I think when you're running a campaign, these are the kind of things you do.
For anyone curious, here's Donald Trump working a shift at McDonald's at the drive-thru.
We're going to put it right here. Lower it slowly into the oil, don't want to burn. Good. And then we're just going to hit our fry timer right here.
Right there.
Yep. Now we're waiting for that duty timer. So now when that duty timer comes up, again, hit the timer, take it out the oil slowly, give it a little shake so that way it don't get stuck together, and then lower it back into the oil. And then, you want to do the salt over here?
Yeah.
I did these ones already, they're good. You just got to do that one right there. So grab that.
Give them extra salt.
No. That's good. Right there. And then we're going to grab the fry scoop right here, put it into there, and just give them a swirl. Step up.
Okay, where's this little thing?
Medium fry carton right here, sides, and the bottom.
Keep it tight. We got the salt on it. Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
Good. Want to do another one? Go ahead. I'll grab it. Got it. Harry, look at this guy. I'm not going to mess with him, huh?
How you doing,
You
sir?
look fantastic. Hello.
This is my new baby boy.
How are you? Your new baby. How are
Yes.
you?
Doing great.
Kids, how are
This is my
you?
niece.
So this is compliments of me, okay?
All right.
You go have a
Thank
good
you.
time. Don't eat too much.
Does this work for you, Sarah? He has been criticised of just, too many stunts, not enough serious words. Do they wash well with you?
Well, I think it's working, and I think it's working for him. And I honestly, like, as an American, there's nothing more American almost than serving up fries at McDonald's. It's a staple of American life. And I think when you're running a campaign, these are the kind of things you do. And he wanted to point out the inauthenticity of Kamala Harris. And so that's what he's doing. He's working at McDonald's. He's saying she's lied about her past. What else has she lied about? She's not competent. And he's connecting with the people. And there was like a huge long street filled with people cheering for him with flags and MAGA hats. And this just has brought all the media attention to him. He's again dictating the narrative, and people love it.
I wonder if Kamala Harris is short of a few gimmicks. We had the sort of brat girl summer thing, didn't we? The convention was very glitzy. It felt incredibly positive. Maybe she is missing a little bit of that. As I said earlier, in terms of McDonald's, they've said in a letter signed by their entire senior US leadership team, including the President Joe Erlinger, McDonald's does not endorse candidates for elected office, and that remains true in this race for the next president. We are not red or blue, we are golden, they say. Rather than joking about Donald Trump and saying, don't take him seriously, he's a joke, her message is, take him seriously, Sarah Elliott.
Yes. I mean, he's already been president. We know what one term under Donald Trump is like, and we didn't have any new wars. We didn't have any more wars. We had a really thriving, booming economy. People had more money in their pocket, and their wages exceeded inflation. And we had the largest wage growth for African Americans when Donald Trump was president. There was a lot of good policies there, and we had the Abraham Accords, of course, in the Middle East. And so, she talks about that he'll be the subject of skits and humor and jokes. Well, so will she. She already is. Saturday Night Live is doing wonderful parodies of her. Is she competent enough? Are all of her, policies, what are her policies? She cannot articulate an economic message. She was also in charge of the border as vice president, and we've had the largest increase of illegal immigration in American history. The population of London has crossed that southern border, and these are impacting minority communities, and this is why she's not doing so well with, let's say, Hispanics and black men right now.
All right, well, look, a poll by the Associated Press, NORC Centre for Public Affairs Research, released this morning, was quite positive for Kamala Harris. It found that she's viewed more favourably than Donald Trump, including among independent voters that could decide the 7 swing states. It also shows that Trump no longer appears to have the advantage he once had on the handling of economic issues. He's still ahead, but she's eating into some of that lead. This Jerry Baker is something that Donald Trump has made a centerpiece of his campaign, really, with the accusations that Democrat policies have driven up prices. What are we to take from the fact that Kamala Harris is starting to be viewed more favorably on the economy? Is that just, simply as a result of the American economy getting a little bit better overall at the moment?
Yeah, it's partly that. Look, she still has a deficit, though. I wouldn't overstate it. It's one poll as well
True.
at odd some of the other polls, and it still shows her with a deficit on that issue and a significant deficit on the even more important issue to a lot of people of immigration. So, yeah, I think the economy is improving a bit. She's done quite a good job of sort of trying to distance herself from the Biden administration's record, and people kind of do understand that she's different from Biden, although they don't know what she stands for. Look, but I think the larger problem she has right now, and I'm speaking to, here talking both to Democrats and to Republicans, is there's an incoherence to her message, which reflects, I think, the fact that none of the attacks really are working very well on Donald Trump. I mean, it's a bit strange on the one hand to say Donald Trump is not a serious person and is a bit of a joke and should be made fun of, and literally turn around and say he's also Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, and Benito Mussolini rolled into one. And I think that, you've really kind of got to pick one or the other, to be honest with you. I don't think you're going to convince people by saying he's a clown, but he's actually also going to plunge America into an era of totalitarian tyranny. So that again, the larger point is it reflects just this. The Harris campaign has kind of stalled. They had this big moment when they launched in July, then they had the convention in August, which helped them. They get a lot of publicity for that. Then they had the debate in September, where I think it's fair to say she got the better of Trump. That was over a month ago. They've got nothing else since then. And then voters are coming back, I think, to these issues that matter: immigration, the economy. Where, as you say, despite the fact she may be closing the gap, she's still behind. So now they're kind of trying once again to go back to this kind of strange attack message on Donald Trump, that he's both a clown and a dictator. And I just don't. It's a reflection. And their internal polling shows this, from what I am told, that none of this has really been working so far, that, it's a close race, but that she is probably slipping behind on these key issues.
She's been on this media blitz, hasn't she, Kamala Harris? And Donald Trump, true. I mean, as I said, she's back in Pennsylvania for the, 3,000th time of this campaign. Both of them have been to swing states. Pennsylvania particularly seems to be a favourite, is one of the deciding states in the election. And this is for Sarah Kendzior. I will give your surname so we can have some differentiation here. We know Kamala Harris is scheduled to give an interview with NBC News from her home at the Naval Observatory in Washington, D.C. tomorrow. What does she need to do if her campaign has stalled, if her message is a little garbled, as Sarah and Jerry have both said there, Sarah Kendzior? What does she need to do? How does Kamala Harris need to hit this head on?
She needs to build a time machine and put Joe Biden in it and have him actually hold Trump accountable for the myriad of crimes that he committed over the 4 years he was in office and for the 4 decades before he got in office. I sometimes feel like these conversations are a bit surreal because Trump is a career criminal who in office committed sedition, attempted a coup.
She can't do that though, Sarah.
She cannot,
no.
And I think
and
that
so
this is where the quandary is.
Let's just take some sensible suggestions for the Kamala Harris campaign. I am as interested in anyone as seeing good political campaigns, without a penny in McDonald's behind a drive-thru counter. What can Kamala Harris do to get this campaign, to stop it from stalling any further?
She needs to distance herself from the Biden administration's failures. She needs to take him seriously, as she said she was going to, as a threat to the United States, but by being honest about what he's done, not just making parallel allusions to past dictators, but talking about what he did recently. He was not held accountable for that. And my point was that the reason they don't tend to bring a lot of these things up is because the DOJ under Biden and a lot of our institutions failed. So it's a huge issue for the American public that turns into a non-issue for the Harris campaign, because if she were to highlight it, it would be to highlight her own, I don't know if it's like complicity, but her own inaction in regard to him. So she needs to put forward her own vision, say what she's going to do to hold him accountable, and also do something about the structural problems that allowed him to enter office to begin with, and the kind of mix of chaos and inertia that this country has been trapped in for 8 years and more, well, predates Donald Trump. He didn't come out of nowhere.
A quick takeaway for you, by the way, a significant majority of British voters want Kamala Harris to triumph in the forthcoming presidential election. This is, of course, against former President Donald Trump. This is YouGov polling released today. Nearly 2/3 backed Harris compared to 18% who supported Trump. Among Labour voters, 83% wanted Harris to win compared to 5% for Donald Trump. Jerry Baker, what do you think of this and the fact that the story over the weekend was that various Labour staffers are heading over to the States, if they're not there already, to help Kamala Harris's campaign along?
I'm not at all surprised that that's how British people perceive Donald Trump, because if you look at the British media, I think with the exception of maybe GB News and some occasional independent columnists at the Telegraph, the BBC
and Times Radio, Jerry, come on.
I'm not going to go there because you're a wonderful, sister employer to mine. All I'd say is that the cover, and I look at it quite closely, but the BBC's coverage, obviously, and most people get their information from the BBC, is just relentlessly critical and negative about Trump. So I'm not at all surprised that people have that impression. And I think that as for Labour voters Labour supporters coming over here, people should be people are not. It's interesting that there are restrictions on what foreigners can do in American political life, like give money most obviously, but they're not restricted from coming over and maybe canvassing and things like that. But I would love to see some, snotty-nosed Labour staffer from somewhere in Westminster come over and attempt to knock on doors in rural Pennsylvania and tell them in their best English accent why they should be voting for Kamala Harris. It would be an absolute gift to Donald Trump if they were to do so. So,
a bit of a
my
mismatch.
advice would be, if they want Kamala Harris to win, stay well away.
US Republicans have accused the Labour government of foreign interference. These are Labour staffers. That's 100 staff to campaign for Harris. Let's talk about Elon Musk. So this is really interesting. Okay, it's sort of an ambitious get out the vote operation to mobilise Trump voters. 75 million has gone into this from Elon Musk, who obviously is a Trump supporter. He's got a daily $1 million giveaway from now through to election day. Eligible people who sign an online petition supporting the US Constitution are eligible to have a chance to win that $1 million daily prize if they are registered. The complaint is that because there's a voter registration requirement, this breaks federal law. I'd love your take on this. So let's get an explainer on it first of all. So, by signing an online petition supporting the US Constitution, what is Elon Musk asking voters to do here? To just declare themselves?
Yeah, I think so. And I think also bring attention to the issue of that the Constitution's important and that it's very American and you need to register to vote and you get this opportunity of like a lottery system that would change your life. But it brings attention to really important, issues like what is the U.S. Constitution? Our civics is not very strong in America these days, but it also makes sure that you're registered to vote. It's an incentivizing, unique and original, kind of game.
But if supporting the U.S. Constitution is something that's in there to take away from the fact that really it's about registering to vote, which is where federal law becomes a bit sticky. Surely this needs to be looked into further, or is this just simply Jerry Baker, Elon Musk putting his support in a very novel, ingenious way behind Donald Trump? Jerry Baker. We've lost Jerry's line, so let's just come. In fact, let's play a bit of audio. So this is Elon Musk. Says the winner will be chosen at random from those who signed this pro-US Constitution petition by his campaign group, America PAC. Here is the first giveaway at an attendee at a rally in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Today's winner of the $1 million prize. So it's Christine Fischel. Would you like to come up?
Let's go to you, Sarah Kendzior, on this. Josh Shapiro, the Pennsylvania governor, Democrat, has called for a law enforcement investigation. He did that on Meet the Press on NBC yesterday. Musk obviously has a right to be able to express his views, he said, but when you start flowing this kind of money into politics, I think it raises serious questions that folks may want to take a look at. How do you feel about this?
Yes, I agree with him. We've had a problem with campaign finance and dark money, and dirty money for a very long time. And this is just a more blatant view of this. Elon Musk is an open supporter of Donald Trump, and he's particularly a supporter who's connected to J.D. Vance, Trump's vice presidential candidate, along with Peter Thiel. So this is not some sort of objective civics lesson, put into play by Musk. And I think most people that are signing this petition and interested in it are interested in getting $1 million because, who wouldn't be? It reminds me of the Joker in the 1989 Batman, just throwing the money around in order to get support. And I think should be looked at in this way. But I think it's more of a symptom of a broader disease, of campaign finance money out of control, PACs out of control, dirty money flying everywhere, and very little time before the election
We don't know if it's dirty
to
money,
really dig in.
Okay, Sarah Elliott, just briefly with you, why is this worth $75 million to Elon Musk? He's a businessman. He'll know about canny investments. Why is this worth his cash?
Because if we have a Harris administration, this greatly impacts his business. It greatly impacts the future of innovation in America and entrepreneurialism. I mean, the censorship. I mean, you have to remember that during COVID, the White House was directing Twitter what things to take down, what accounts to take down, what Twitter posts to censor. Same with Facebook. This is a fight for Western civilization, according to Elon Musk, and that means free speech and the freedom to innovate and to conquer what he calls the woke mind virus and get away from diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. This is to take back control of the country.
Well, it is new on me, and I don't know how we'd feel if something similar happened here. There are questions to be asked about the fact you do have to be registered to vote to take part in this sort of high stakes lottery. But I'm sure those will be asked over the forthcoming days. Elon Musk must be pretty sure that it's going to work and work in his favour.